All right, what is up, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Let's see, what is it, 6 months now? I want to talk to you guys about this calcium reactor that I have set up and tell you, what I think about it. Really, it is the Aquamaxx T1 calcium reactor. I got the 5-pound CO2 tank with the carbon doser regulator, and it is being fed by the Aquamaxx dosing pump. So it's been 6 months. I'm really happy with it as far as the whole setup goes. As you guys know, in the when I first started the calcium reactor, there was some issues that I had with it as far as getting it tuned right and getting the effluent come out properly, things like that. But after adding on that carbon doser regulator and this Aquamaxx dosing pump, all those issues are done. That's in the past. I was able to focus on more or less getting this thing tuned in and getting my alkalinity right where I wanted it to be. And I will tell you right now, it's not as hard as folks make it out to be. I thought at first this was going to be a difficult task. Getting the calcium reactor, getting it all set up and getting it tuned in right. I thought that was going to be a headache and a nightmare. Actually, it wasn't. This was pretty easy, given that you get the right equipment. You guys checked my video out previously when I had set it up. I had it was a Milwaukee regulator on this tank, or on the CO2 tank, and that had its own quirks about it, mainly because my whole system didn't have a high enough demand for alkalinity. That causes some issues there where you need to actually be able to put the alkalinity back in via the doser and the calcium, the CO2 and the calcium, and getting the media right and getting the effluent to come out, so that way you're giving the system the right amount of alkalinity. Well, when you don't have a high demand, it's kind of hard to get it tuned in properly. This whole setup makes all of that easy. The other thing was the feed line. Now, whether you're feeding it from a separate pump, a manifold, or whatever, that also had its own little issues there too. What I'll talk about with that, I had a manifold, had it ran to it. It had its own little quirks. The effluent line would get clogged up. It'll slow down. It'll cause the CO2 to raise up in the system. It'll shut off for a while. It had its own problems. So for you guys out there looking to get a calcium reactor, I would definitely recommend getting the carbon doser regulator and a Aquamaxx dosing pump. It'll save you a ton of headaches in just getting this thing tuned in right. So as far as the reactor itself goes, that is the, like I said, Aquamaxx T1. It supposedly runs up to a 300-gallon tank, and right now it's on my 75. I am looking to upgrade here in the future to a bigger tank, so that's actually going to come along with me there. And hey, who knows, maybe then at that point I'll actually have to run a higher effluent coming out of the system. But you know what, I got the equipment to go ahead and take care of that. I like the reactor. It holds all the media that I have in there. I've had this on here for about 6 months now. I haven't changed the media. It hasn't melted out. It's pretty much right where it's at from day one. The CO2 tank has been filled only once. So right there, I can tell you, switching from off of 2-part, which I've used ESV 2-part, I've used BRS's 2-part. I also have used the Aquaforest 3-part system that they had there. And I will tell you, I've saved a ton of money in 2-part by just switching over to this calcium reactor. Yes, there is a higher upfront cost, but that won't be a problem with the calcium reactor. Mainly because I spent maybe $15 to fill the CO2, probably another $20 on Reactor media, and obviously, you know, the upfront cost for everything else. Right there, I'm with 2-part, let's say about maybe 150, probably 200, depending on where you get your 2-part from and how much you're buying at a time. I know for me, I was going through 2-part like once every month. Yeah, if you buy the ESV, I was buying that once a month. I had to get a whole new bottle, and I think those run about $33 or so. So if you do the math on it, it's a lot of savings switching over to a calcium reactor. I would say go for it. It's not hard to set it up. I know I've got a video out, which I'll put a link up for it, on setting up this particular calcium reactor. Other YouTubers have videos out on different calcium reactors. I think even BRS has some videos out on their calcium reactors. So there's a lot of information out there for you guys to go ahead and get to be able to be successful in setting up your calcium reactor. So I just wanted to go ahead and do this video here, let you guys know I'm loving this calcium reactor. I haven't had to worry about doing any 2-part, mixing up any fluids. It's working fine, and I give it a thumbs up. So if you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe and hit that notification bell if you want to get more videos from me here, so that way, you know, I can make sure you guys are up to date with everything and you know what's going on. So with that being said, I'm out.